Hello, everyone. I'm Sign1News anchor Vanessa Paloma Bajarnik. Here's a quick look at the top trending international news stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment about this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. Video from Thailand captures the terrifying moment a man's bungee cord snaps after jumping at an amusement park. The 39-year-old man from Hong Kong dived off a 10-foot floor podium while on holiday in January. The bungee cord snapped milliseconds before the man reached the bottom of his jump. Luckily, the jump was made over water. The man landed on his side, resurfaced, and swam to safety despite his feet being tied together by the bungee cord. He only suffered minor injuries. He said he actually went to the park to shoot on the firing range. But he found the courage to bungee jump after his friends dared him to. The video has gone viral around the world. Mexican authorities have arrested 9 public officials allegedly linked to the disappearance of 43 students back in 2014. According to officials, all 9 are police officers, 7 from the state force and 2 from the Iguala locality. The names of the police officers have not been released. The 43 students disappeared nearly 9 years ago while they were traveling from a teaching school in Ayotzinapa to Mexico City. Local police and federal military forces interrupted their buses in the town of Iguala in September 2014. So far, the remains of just a few students have been identified, while the whereabouts of the rest remains a mystery. At least one university student was killed, and hundreds of people were arrested during nationwide protests in Kenya. The protests were against President William Ruto's government and the high cost of living. But Kenya is not the only African country dealing with protests. Angry citizens in South Africa, Nigeria in the west, and Tunisia in the north are also taking to the streets. Tens of thousands of people agreed to simultaneously stage anti-government protests. They are upset over the high cost of living, corruption, and abuse of power. The 4 countries have a combined population of more than 340 million people. According to a new study, the EU Drug Agency says cocaine use is increasing in Europe. The agency says water samples were tested in 104 cities in 21 European countries and discovered the latest drug trends. The water samples were analyzed for traces of cocaine, amphetamine, methamphetamine, ecstasy, ketamine, and cannabis. The study found a rise in cocaine residue from 2021 to 2022, particularly in Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, and Eastern Europe. Increased traces of amphetamines, meth, ecstasy, ketamine, and cannabis were found in Cyprus, Turkey, East Germany, Denmark, Italy, and several northern European countries. According to a UN report, the global water crisis could spiral out of control because of overconsumption and climate change. Water use has increased by about 1% per year over the past 40 years because of population growth and changing consumption patterns. By 2050, the number of people in cities facing water scarcity is projected to nearly double, from 930 million people in 2016 to up to 2.4 billion. Without action to address the problem, the UN says there will definitely be a global water crisis. Beijing's population has declined for the first time in 19 years. Beijing is one of the world's largest cities. The population fell from 21.88 million in 2021 to 21.84 million in 2022. That's a decline of 84,000. The number of migrants in Beijing also fell from 2021 to 2022. The last time Beijing saw more deaths than births was in 2003. That's when there was an outbreak of the fatal respiratory disease, SARS. Not everyone is a morning person. That includes a dairy cow in England named Doris. The cow's owner posted this video of all the cows at Reed's farm on the Isle of Wight getting up and leaving for milking, except for Doris, who pretended to be asleep. How did the owner know she was faking? He says about 30 seconds before the video was shot, Doris's head was up and she was looking straight at him. Then she put her head back down, pretending to be asleep. But the owner said, "Doris, I can see your ears and eyes moving." The video has gone viral on social media. And now Doris has many fans who say they sometimes pretend to be asleep too. Sign1News will be broadcasting international news updates every Sunday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. And you can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku.